welcome to the What the Shuck podcast. The goal of the What the Shuck podcast is to provide a platform to people that are positive or influential to either me or that may be influential to you. So my next guest is the lead bartender down at Goodfellas and is the bar manager, if I'm not correct.
Yep.
Okay. Or if I am correct, and he is going to be showing us a little bit about some of the upcoming bar menu for Goodfellas in the spring. And I think it's 2 cocktails, correct?
Yeah, we're going to do a couple of different ones.
Different cocktails. So these are going to be a little bit based off seasonal ingredients that are available and the drinks that have been inspired by the cocktail artists down at Goodfellas. So Mr. Mike Abbott is going to be our next guest. I'm so excited about this. I actually met this guy this past summer, slinging some slam, or I think he called it slamgria.
It was the Santa Sangria.
Yeah, the Santa Sangria. And I definitely had a few of those this past summer, and I'm really excited to see what you're going to have for us tonight. But without further ado, Mr. Mike Abbott. Thanks, man.
Hey, welcome, guys. So as far as the cocktails I picked out, as you mentioned, springtime is coming around. I love cocktails all times of year, but spring and summer are definitely my favorite. If I had to pick a season, it's when you get into your bright fruits, get your bright citrus flavors, a lot more bubbly drinks that you're just wanting to sit on the back porch and pound. It's actually kind of one of my nomenclatures is when I find a delicious drink, I call it a porch pounder, and I've got a couple for you right now. But so with Goodfellas, we do rotate our menu every 3 months. We do want to keep seasonality as far as the style of drink. In the fall we may have a lot more spices, a lot more viscosity, a little bit more warming drinks, even if it is on ice, and a lot more deep fruits and deep berries. And then you get into the summertime and you're able to do mint and citrus and light, refreshing, and grapefruit, and just get you in the mood. But we always rotate our menu because we also want to have the best produce in. With our cocktailing, everything starts in the kitchen. So all of our syrups we produce in the kitchen, make in-house, any of our infusions and garnishments or whatnot. So we do like to rotate our menu just for that aspect alone. We don't want to be buying a winter seasoned vegetable or fruit in the summertime where it's probably coming out of a hot house or frozen. But yeah, if you want me to, I can go ahead and get started.
Totally.
Go ahead and talk about what we got going on.
So while you're doing that, getting a few of these things together, I'll be thinking about some of the drinks that I've had at Goodfellas that I freaking love that are porch pounders that I can
I'm excited to hear what these are.
Category 5, first one that comes to mind.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to Mike Hartley for that one.
Yeah, that is one of my favorites.
You guys, that's an old repertoire. You guys pulled that out.
We
that was
slammed
fun.
a few of those down by the, what's the band that plays?
The Kevin Sparks Quartet?
Yes.
Yeah, the jazz band?
Yes. When that guy was down there playing, me and Mike were slamming some Category 5s. Our brains were probably a Category 5 because a couple of those, you start sipping, like you said, it's a porch pounder.
But that creeps
like,
up on
woo!
Yeah.
And one of them I was thinking about actually that you'll had most recently is the Honey Badger. That was one that really
shout out to Chip Hartley again. You just picked both of his drinks.
I'm trying to say I like that guy a lot.
Well, Honey Badger's a good seller as well. Now the Category 5, and it's other than just making these drinks, the best part about it is naming them. It's just so much fun. Like the Honey Badger, for instance, is made out of Bärenjäger, which is an herbal honey liqueur, but it has a little badger on the front of it, and it was a honey liqueur. So that's literally how we came up with a little name for it. It's either a bear or badger, whatever it may be, but he was trying to come up with the name.
Looks like a mean son of a bitch.
That's just how we came up with it. And honestly, it had fig syrup in it. So we were just playing off the old classic YouTube video where Honey Badger doesn't give a fig. So that's why we named the drink that. And the Category 5 was his rendition of a hurricane, but rowdy rum and fruits in it, and then he had pomegranate floater instead of a dark rum floater.
Yeah.
That's wild that you pulled that out. That was 2 summers ago. That was
Love that
2019.
one.
It was a good drink. I actually had a bad day on that drink.
So I see that you actually have a tiki drink or tiki cup. So are we getting a rum cocktail?
No, I'm glad that you said that because, like I said, we're getting into spring and summer. These are the fun cocktails. We are a bourbon bar. We're a cocktail lounge, and hell, we're a beer stew. Lexington's used to bourbon, so you would be impressed at how much beer we go through.
You'll have an incredible selection of beer too. It's like
we
local
have
crafts, but also like some nationally distributed ones. So I think you all.
Well, getting started. So Lexington or Goodfellas is my first management position. I've worked at every type of restaurant in Lexington. I've probably too many different jobs that I should name out loud by the time I was 36 years old. But getting into it, I was so focused on bourbon and craft cocktails, beer. it was all beer. And so I was like, wow. So now we're coming into that play. But getting to the drink, this is a tiki style drink, but this was made by the lovely Terry Keith.
Okay.
And she is definitely, she was weaned on bourbon and she has it in her veins. And she wanted to do a tiki drink, but with mellow corn.
Okay.
If you're unfamiliar, this is a bottled and bond, which means it was a single distillation season, 4-year barrel aged, and it's at 100 proof. But this is a 100% corn whiskey, but it's made by Heaven Hill. It's fantastic. Being corn whiskey, it has that bready, super grainy forward taste to it, which kind of reminds you of tequila. So it actually works great in palomas and margaritas. We call them meloritas, but we drink. Bernie Lubbers, who is an associate of mine, but he's like the face of Heaven Hill, and he's big on meloritas. So we thought it was cool to give a little nod to him and put that in there. So let's get started to it. As I said, it starts in the kitchen. She made, this is fresh passion fruit.
Okay.
And she took that and made it into a delicious syrup. Even though it is fruity, it almost works as an acid on its own. It's not just lime and lemon.
This passion fruit is a very acidic.
It's super acidic. So passion fruit syrup.
Pineapple.
And then we'll hit it with a little bit of lime just to brighten it up because we did make it into a syrup, so it's still quite sweet. Blackstrap bitter. So you mentioned, is this going to be a rum drink? No, but we want to implement a rum into it. So this is a tea bitters that's made out of molasses and sarsaparilla and cinnamon. So it has that Caribbean spice to it. And then just to pair up with the passion fruit, we put a little bit of peach bitters in it.
Okay.
And then this is an old world liqueur, and actually the drinks that I brought up today is going to encompass this drink in both of them.
Okay.
But Cronin Swedish Punch, the Swedes would actually source Caribbean rums, but they would take that and they would mix it with their own domestic liqueurs and allspice liqueur. So it's a cordial, but it has this deep rum backbone to it.
Okay.
But obviously not technically a rum. But partner that with it.
Rum is like my favorite spirit, so I'm always
Really?
interested to see how those are incorporated.
My second family is Venezuelan, so I finally got into rums, and that's what we stoke up cigars and just share rums. And the stuff that they've introduced me to, I didn't know was even out there.
There's
It's
just
incredible.
Like with bourbon, it's so fun, it's so cool, but it's like the flavor profile is going to be essentially the same on most bourbons when
For
you
the
get
most
down
part.
to it. But with rum, there's so many different variations that are possible. It could be a Caribbean rum, it could be Jamaican rum, it could be Brazilian rum, it could be a Venezuelan rum. It's just there's even the harvest rum from Wilderness Trail.
Oh yeah. I know what
It's
you're talking
technically not even like quote unquote a rum, if I'm not mistaken.
But it's a sugarcane distillate though.
It's like a whiskey sugarcane distillate, right? Though, so it's like they did a weird thing, and we're like, we're gonna make our own like rum.
And you mentioned Jamaican rums. That's one of the ones that I get into is my favorite. I like that. It reminds me of the countryside of Kentucky. They have what's called dunder. It's this natural moss that builds up on the inside of their stills, and they're one of the few people that when they scrape that off, they save it in pits. So when they make the next batch, they dump that dunder back into it, and that's what gives it. Jamaican rums can be sweet, but when you smell it, it reminds me of alfalfa.
It's almost like herbaceous, even though it is super sweet. Yeah,
and that's what I get into. So the last thing I added was banana liqueur.
Gifford's makes excellent liqueurs too.
Everything that they make is delicious. I've got a personal drink that I use their apricot in. That's phenomenal.
Gifford's, I really enjoy. Gifford's just their journal of all the cocktails and stuff that guy has is incredible. You can't even take a screenshot of that guy's stuff because he's like, that's copyrighted.
Right.
And that's like one of the only sites I can think of that's like, nope, can't do that.
So, shaking or turn all this stuff together. You said you saw a tiki glass. We're going full tiki. One of the best things about summer and spring cocktails is you usually are sitting on that porch. You usually are drinking overproof rum or 100 proof bourbon and whatnot. But I'm going to go ahead and take that crushed ice. We'll snow cone it into our tiki glass here. My favorite part is at our place when we drink martinis or whatnot, Used to be an old style that people said they wanted to skate across the top of their martinis, so you would just shake a vodka martini as hard as you could and pour it out, and you'd have these ice crystals. We actually double strain everything to keep that off, just so you're not chewing on stuff while you're drinking. But it's a hassle and a nightmare when you're doing that all the time. On tiki drinks, more crushed ice, the better. Figure it out, brother?
I don't really know what happened, but
That was definitely what I eat.
It's all good. You can just edit it and throw like an interruption screen on it and then cut it right back.
Yep.
and then Mike's got the mechanical skills to get that shit done. Is it still going? Yeah.
Like I said, leave it to me to cause technical difficulties.
Hey, bro, you gotta beat the hammer.
I'm not the least bit surprised. So then we're just finishing off with nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy, just classic grenadine. Basically, this was inspired by a tequila sunrise,
Okay.
which was just tequila, OJ, a little bit of grenadine. But this, my friend, we have dubbed, and it is a nod to our wonderful staff at Goodfellas. We are a family. We are all best friends, and Terry loves to host everybody over to her house. And she has a beautiful screened-in back porch and a painting that just says porch party on it. So whenever we do have staff get-togethers, we do. So this is called the porch party, or the porch party sunrise.
Porch Party Sunrise. Cheers.
Cheers to you guys. And so that's that bad boy. Go ahead. You're the man with the plan. See what you think.
Smells good. It smells like a porch party.
Yeah.
Excellent. Love grenadine. So, someone was like, if you ever make a drink, you should use the mellow corn liquor and call it, like, you should do a corn pudding style drink and call it the
Ooh.
corn shucker.
Yeah.
So, like, I do pick up the similar flavor profiles that you would find in, like, a tequila or something like that. It is kind of almost literally like a rum paloma.
Yeah.
It's super interesting.
Exactly.
It's
Especially
super
with that
fun.
passion fruit,
Yeah.
gives it a little bit of a grapefruit pop
Yes.
to it.
That's super fun. I love anything like flavorful, and then the herbaceousness from the mint. Throw it in with the like popping of the passion fruit. I actually had a dessert today that was like passion fruit and chocolate. Someone didn't like it. I enjoyed it, but I thought it was pretty good.
I don't fruit my chocolate. I can't handle it. All right, I'm just gonna
All right,
stop
so we got another
rinse this
drink.
out. We'll do one more. This one, let me get this guy spritzed real quick. All right. So this one is a fun one. This is created by Jeremiah, who is actually my assistant manager.
Okay.
This guy steps outside of the box. He's always doing something crazy and goofy. And I thought that this one exemplified mostly of how we feel when we say we start in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my drinks, I know personally, are inspired by culinary products. Like I'll make a blueberry muffin. I'll make a corn pudding, whatever it may be. This one, he wanted to make a spring, refreshing avocado toast.
Avocado toast.
And this is our brunch drink. So
Okay.
straight up vodka, Deep Eddy's lemon vodka, already delicious even on its own.
The cod toast.
But he got in the kitchen and made an avocado.
So I was looking at that
simple
and I
syrup.
was literally like, what is that? And one of the things that I always love that you all do is that, so the way that I look at someone being like craft cocktail is if they usually are like making their own simple syrup. So if it's like orgeat or it's a avocado simple syrup, that's how I know if someone's doing something right. So I'm excited to try this.
It's fun. The big thing is like I said, we can take a dish and how do we deliver art? These are the 5 flavors that make that dish. Well, when we go to the cocktail, are we going to deliver this flavor through a syrup? Or are we going to do it through a bitters? You know, TK wanted peach in her cocktail. She could have easily done a peach liqueur, but because of the sweetness of her syrup and that rum liqueur, she used peach bitters. That way it balanced it out. But then she still got peach into her drink.
Yep.
So if I found an avocado gin out there, I guess he could have used that.
Something I really also enjoy that you all do and a lot of good places will do is the fat washing.
Oh yeah.
So was
You
that
had
used
that,
in any way to make this or?
Well, similarly, because avocado's
Super
basically
fatty.
it's Mexican butter.
Yeah.
I love it. It's basically he made a simple syrup and just blended avocado into it. So not a whole lot of flavor, even in avocados alone, but that's what gives this drink. This drink is so light and refreshing and citrusy that it needed something to give it that little bit of velvety texture, and that's why he used it.
Did TK make the last drink that had the fat wash in it?
That was mine. That was the Bring Me To, the pina colada. That was cream cheese fat wash.
That one was probably my favorite one on the newest menu, so...
Yeah, I love that. That was one of my favorite drinks last year.
I love anything fat wash, like milk wash, like rye or something. Oh my gosh.
Well, even milk punches and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I just added aromatic bitters. These are straightforward. Main component is clove, a little bit of anise, but it's pretty rowdy. Like I said, this drink is bright.
Yeah.
So this just kind of gives it a base level.
Brings it back
a lot
down.
of times I relate it to music. If you have just a lead singer and a horn section, it's pretty high pitched and obnoxious. So you got to have drums and bass. So a lot of times we pick out a flavor to where if something's super bright and citrusy, throw in some bourbon or rum or a dark bitters to kind of balance it out.
Yeah, totally.
And then this, like I said, Jeremiah loves Europe. This is Bekarovka.
Never even actually.
Bekarovka. It comes from the Czech Republic. It is an herbal liqueur. Pour you a little taster out if you want. It's different. It's mint and anise and licorice based. So think like it's like a chartreuse or something like that.
I was gonna say almost like an absinthe, but like less depth.
Well, and just not all absinthe. It's going to be a lot more syrupy, and it actually has herbs and spices in it as well. Just to make sure I got everything. Oh no. And then he as well is using the.
It does smell like
Swedish
a chartreuse.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Big licorice, but when you drink it, you're going to get a lot of vegetable and herbs and spices out of it too. And he used that he spent.
It is much more vegetable. It's not. It's like. It's very balanced.
Yeah.
For how like many flavors are going on, and it's super balanced.
He spent a summer or a semester in college in Europe, and ever since then, he's obsessed with some of these old world liqueurs. He definitely loves Cronin Swedish Punch. He has used. I'm trying to think what the liqueur was. I'm trying to think what the liqueur was he used on his last drink. But it was Slivovitz, which is it's a brandy, but it's an unaged distilled plum brandy. And the one that we got came out at 100 proof.
Okay.
So that's the whole drink. Comes out this gorgeous, thick, viscous. All that viscosity is just coming from the avocado.
That is crazy.
And this crazy green color. And then just to drive his cheeky little joke home, this is one of my favorite parts of this entire drink.
That is actually insane.
It is garnished with an everything pretzel chip and a mint sprig to bring out the flavor of that guy.
So is it almost like Brennivan's? What is that? There's like a pretzel tasting
liqueur.
It's a
man.
It's not a liqueur. It's like a. Oh, I don't want to. It's not. It might not even be Brennivan's actually. It's like what's Geneva?
Oh, Jennifer.
Okay,
Jennifer is similar to like a gin. I'm not sure what the exact specs
It almost tastes like pretzels or like dough.
But here,
well,
give this guy a sip, and I do recommend. It was crazy because I thought his garnish was hilarious when he put this drink and presented it to me.
The smell.
The drink comes out thick. That drink is absolutely refreshing.
The smell of that everything pretzel though, with the mint and then the fattiness of that avocado, that's well thought out.
It's the same thing as having sweet and salty together.
Yeah, it's
so like if you think of like brie, eating stone fruit, or
a plum jelly with a brie.
That's how that works.
Yeah, totally. That's literally how it smells.
It's so good. Jeremiah, you killed it, buddy.
Dude, that tastes like... that tastes like Gushers.
Yeah, it's...
I don't know how it tastes like Gushers.
Big flavor. And I recommend it here. Just if you want to pass around, dunk you one of those bad boys in there.
That tastes like Gushers.
That's what shocked me is actually... it's fun having an edible garnish sometimes, but the fact that the garnish...
Everyone tried that.
It ended up working. It works with it.
That is incredible. That might be one of my favorite cocktails I've had.
I told him he needs to make sure that if he ever...
That literally tastes like Gushers.
To submit that.
hit it on the head.
Dude, that,
It tastes like a
Like a mint lime gusher.
Oh.
that is incredible.
Really refreshing. But those are just two of the drinks. Our menu launches the first week of March. It's that Monday, which I believe is the first, actually. So we will launch there. We do it every 3 months. We just did our menu tasting with the owners yesterday. Went over very well. They were a big fan.
Can't see them being very disappointed with either of these drinks, but
Yeah.
That thing is amazing.
I'm going to have a sip. I haven't had one since yesterday.
yeah, but that is, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been. An
I appreciate you
incredible
having me. This is a unique experience for me. So I just love the fact that you invited me.
Dude, this area is super cool, even though I was just like pointing back there, like people will be like, oh yeah, those windows. But we're at the distillery district, literally. We're right above Goodfellas. Super great opportunity. We actually have one more episode left for tonight. It's going to be Mr. Brett Higgins and Donnie Bowling. And we're going to be just talking a little bit about music and the process of like the drive that brings you to be a creative artist. Obviously, you can see that the creative artistry that's going on down at Goodfellas is excellent. These drinks are so good. I'm not trying to say that if you love gushers and are a little kid that you're going to like this drink, but if you're a little kid, you probably would even enjoy this. But make sure you're 21 if you're going to go down to Goodfellas. Like you said, this is going to be coming out in March. A lot of really cool things that they do in the area are going to be based off the produce and things like that. So it's really cool that they're going to play off that. And it's not just going to be just a drinking experience. Like I said, sometimes it's going to be almost like a culinary experience in a cocktail. So thanks again, man, for coming on.
Thank you again.
We
I appreciate
actually-
folks like you that actually give that much appreciation to it, because that's what keeps us going.
Totally, dude. And the fact that we even got to try those beers from Ethereal before this, the Baba Yaga like variants that they had, excellent. So thank you for bringing those up, and
you're
thank
welcome.
you for coming on, dude. I appreciate it so much.
Cheers.
Yep.
Thank you, Austin.